Hello, everybody, and welcome to the post-race beer review. Uh, this is a shorter version of an episode. There's only myself is going to be on this one, and we're going to go over a race that I personally have ran, or that I'm running. Today, we're going to go over the Buckley to Orting Rail Trails Half Marathon. I ran that race um, during this week. It was out in Washington, the state of Washington. It was a wonderful race. Race started out. It's a smaller race. I'd probably put about 150 runners or so. So it was a very small race. And initially, I was a little hesitant about certain aspects of the race because I wasn't aware of everything. Turns out that this race is a fundraiser to help maintain a rail trail out in Washington that's south of Tacoma, southeast of Tacoma, more east, I guess you'd say. Uh, Normally, this is a point-to-point race. However, because of construction going along the trail, one of the bridges is being rebuilt or resurfaced, or some construction is going on it, so we can't utilize it. It was a out and back of 6.5 out, 6.5 back. The race starts out, and you're looking at Mount Rainier, which luckily it was a clear morning. Seeing Mount Rainier at the start of the race, I've been to many starting lines in my travels, and that is very hard to beat. However, I know they didn't construct Mount Rainier for the race, so it's just it's just lucked out to be a beautiful path. We get to the race, a very small parking lot, probably like 40 or so cars, 30 or so cars on a normal day. But normally the rate that area is not, it's not utilized as a for event space of this type. There is street parking available. I arrived to the race about an hour early, so I was able to get a parking spot. However, others had different issues. Uh, Porta potties, there was an issue with, I believe there was an issue with some of the porta potties being delivered at the wrong location. So that was something to consider. But that happens. There was a restroom, full flush restroom. There was probably maybe 400 yards when the start finish line. It was along the race course. It was down from the start line, and it was kind of just off the race course. But you could utilize that. That was a full flush bathroom. So if you needed to use bathroom, that was there. There's a music playing. There's a gantry, official timing. Is all the perks of a race that you would really expect. It was just this race is more of a fundraiser. So despite the size of it being a smaller race and not as much fanfare along the course, it was still, by the time I signed up, it was a little bit costlier, around $80-90. However, I did a half marathon one weekend, and then stayed in Washington for a week, and did a full marathon, doing a full marathon at the end of that. Start of the race, really fun. Get together, you get onto the trail, gun goes off, or however, I forget how it started exactly. We go out, and 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 we're just running along. The it's uphill. This, with the current configuration, it's uphill all the way out, but it's a nice gentle, I'd probably put like 1% to 2% grade most of the way. Um, More or less like a false flat, if you're familiar with that concept. Uh, you would feel the effort of going uphill, but it wasn't anything punchy. It wasn't anything that would wear out your legs excessively. I went out, found another runner who was doing intervals as well. Her and I went out together. We really had a good time, chit-chatted quite a bit, helped pass the miles, and Monty was there as well. Monty is going to be my pacer, co-pacer. I'm sorry. He's going to be a co-pacer for the Jack and Jill marathon that's coming up in a week. Well, it's the end of the week. He's a very experienced runner, very experienced pacer. Met him as well, but he was pacing, so me and him didn't. He was a sweeper, and I wanted to go a little bit faster than a sweeper for this race. Not wear myself out, but not hang back out with the sweeper. We went out. There were I believe, two aid stations on the way out, so that would put it at about mile 2 and mile 4. And then at mile 6, roughly 6.5, there was a turnaround. I don't recall there being an aid station at the turnaround. The turnaround was a cone in the middle of the rail trail. This rail trail was paved, by the way. Sometimes these rail trails are hard pack gravel. Other times they're paved. It just depends. This particular one, it was paved the whole way, I believe. So that was nice. There was a beautiful canopy of trees along the course. There was a lot to look at. The nature out there, for somebody that's from the Midwest going out to the West Coast, it was different. Going out there, the one thing I will say that I found out before the race was that in Washington, unless you have irrigation, they don't cut their grass in the summer. And the grass was dead because it doesn't get a lot of rain in the summer. They get more rain in the fall through the spring. So the fall, winter, and spring is when they cut their grass. So the foliage for this race, the foliage was great, even though it was took place in July. The foliage was still beautiful, and the weather's still beautiful. Weather started out mid-60s, clear, I believe. It was clear at the beginning. There's a couple of clouds over Mount Rainier, and then it kind of it shifted throughout the race, but it was mainly clear. It got to about 76 by the end of the race. Beautiful course. Turned around, came back. There was again the same two aid stations were at I guess that'd be mile 11 and 9. Yeah, because that'd be about 2 miles apart, way out, 2 miles apart, way back. But I don't recall anything. I don't recall anything at the turnaround point. Yeah, so that gave you. And then on the way back, we came in, and now you're running downhill, and you're getting that 1 or 2% back. Nothing extreme. If you're expecting, to fly downhill, that wasn't necessarily what I experienced, but I did experience. It was a really good time overall. The course is a little bit windy, but not too much so. Mostly straight. I mean, it is a former railroad bed, so your turns aren't going to be too extreme. And it was just a really nice experience. Came in, hit the finish line. I came in at the 3:09 mark, so a lot of runners were already finished by that point, and they had already finished and gone home. I don't think this race draws too many people from out of town, just because of the nature of everything. Just it's not a big name race in that manner. However, I did enjoy it. Finish line had ice cream, and I want to say it had Little Debbie type snacks. Had your gels, your goos, your waters, your chocolate milk. I believe there's chocolate milk there available as well. It's really well catered to. I enjoyed that. It was a really, really great race. Um, the elevation for the entire course, my watch has it at 336 total ascent. However, I don't really trust that. It didn't seem as if it was that much elevation, but that's my watch has it as. I remember one episode we talked about it, that when the weather, as you're out there for 3 hours or more, as the pressure, depending on how your watch is set, if it's set for pressure altitude, then as pressure changes, then I'll give you different altitudes, so it gives you a false sense of your elevation actually achieved. Came in, finished the race, finished race comfortable. I won't say strong. I wasn't weak. I just was comfortable. I was comfortable the entire time, wanting to enjoy my day. Overall, it was just a really great race. There was a finisher shirt that was had a locomotive on the front of it, heading back to the rail trail, and the metal is a very nice metal. There's a track going around it to encircle the middle part. The middle part, it says Buckley to Orton, Orting, Orting Rail to Trails, and it spins on the backside of it. It says Foothills Rail to Trails Coalition, and that middle piece does spin, and the ribbon that goes around your neck, it has the name of the B&O half marathon and 10K 2025 finisher is on the ribbon. Overall, I enjoyed the race. There wasn't a lot of fanfare. There wasn't a lot of course. Well, there was course support at the A stations, and they were appropriately spaced. Just don't expect A stations that you would get in, say, Chicago, where there are 100 volunteers. Um, if you've ever done a half marathon or 10K for charity, you kind of know that you shouldn't expect a lot of things to be provided for you. However, that's not to say that the race should skimp out, and this race by no means did. The official timing is probably, in my book, the most important thing. There was also a race photographer, and I believe there's going to be free race photos, and free race photos are amazing. We love free race photos. We love photos. We just don't always want to pay for them because it can get expensive. However, we did that, and it was a good race. So that was the being the Buckley to Orting B&O half marathon. If you're out the Washington to Pacific Northwest in the summertime, I would suggest adding that to there. The race director for the B&O is also the same race director for the Jack and Jill marathons, which is the following. Well, for right now, it's the following weekend. I would definitely consult the calendars to make sure. I don't know if it's always going to be on in one race on a Sunday and the following race be on a Saturday and Sunday. I don't know if it's always going to be like that, or sometimes it's going to be spaced out 2 weeks, or on being the same RD. I doubt it will ever be on the same weekend because she can't do both in the same weekend. That's just possible. But I would definitely look into it and go to the race and enjoy it. It's a beautiful race. It's beautiful scenery, and being able to start and see Mount Rainier at the beginning, that's hard to beat. I've seen Chicago and I've seen Indianapolis, which Indianapolis is a lot smaller than Chicago. I'll give you that. But I've seen many start lines over the years, and seeing the arch at St. Louis, but seeing Mount Rainier at the start of a marathon is very inspirational. I guess inspirational would be the best word to put on there. So anyhow, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend, run the race that you're in. Remember, forward is a pace.